Sponsored by Paperlike. That is a tough choice, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know which one I like better. What is going on, everybody? Happy iPad Air 5 release day. Today we are unboxing the iPad Air 5 in purple and in blue. I'm gonna give you my impressions, tell you what I think. I don't even know, because these are two brand new colors that I have never seen before. Didn't even look at them when I was at the Apple store for something else, which I'll get into in a few minutes. But we're gonna unbox these and I'll tell you what I think of the iPad Air 5, my initial impressions. Let's get started. All right, we're gonna get started here and I'm gonna go with the purple one. We're gonna start with the purple one. Now, both these devices are 64 gigs in storage. They are both the Wi-Fi only version, so it's not the LTE version, or sorry, the 5G version. Now we have 5G. But these devices are $599 per device at 64 gigs. Now, I will tell you, I'm a little bit disappointed in the storage configurations where they start at 64 gigs, but I understand Apple's really, they want people to upgrade to the bigger iPad Pro to make more money, have more profit margin. This is the 12 megapixel camera, same 12 megapixel camera that I had last year. Let's open that up. Ooh, that is really, really, dare I say pretty? I don't know. I like it a lot. That is a super sharp color. I love the way that it just kind of a little bit of iridescence to it. And if you look at the back of this device, right above the smart dock connector, it says iPad Air. So you know which one you're rocking and people will know which device you're rocking too. That's kind of a nice touch. I like it. It's a little, it's very subtle. Now, in terms of the display is the same exact 10.9 inch liquid retina display that they had last year. There's not an improvement in the display. But with that, there is a new 12 megapixel ultra wide front facing camera that they have on this device, which is now powered by the M1 processor, which is kind of weird. I don't know how I really feel about that at this point, that the M1 processor is included on the same iPad that runs on the MacBook Air, the MacBook 13-inch Pro, and even the iPad Pro, which I have some more tests coming along with that. So if you want to see that, make sure you are subscribed. Now, while we're waiting for this to power up, we have a straight through USB-C cable and a 20-watt USB-C adapter. I want to see what information is included in the box. So what do we have here? Owner's manual, quick start guide, and stickers. Wait, there's no stickers? There's no stickers. Oh wait, hold on. They're right here at the end. So we have two, call these medium-sized Apple stickers in white. And let's get started with this blue one. Now this blue color, I don't know how I would describe it. It's not like a slate blue. It is a different color blue. I think maybe is it called a bis blue? Now I can say with a great deal of certainty that the accessories are going to be the same. Have been doing this for a long time. Oh wow, the blue is nice. Let's get a look at that. Oh wow. Wow, that's a tough choice. That is a tough choice, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know which one I like better, this blue or this purple. Wow. You tell me what color you like better down in the comments below. This is beautiful. That's the thing about opening up Apple devices. That first time you see that color, if it's a color that you like, obviously, you see it and you're like, wow, this looks really great, like how I think this blue looks great, or you think it's not what you expected. I don't know about you, but you let me know which one you like better down in the comments below. I think I like the blue better than the purple. Let's set these up and see what we can actually do with them. Now, I like to set these devices up as brand new. Now, this quick activation where you scan the, essentially it's a QR code, it takes care of the authentication. This is probably one of the best things I've experienced as someone who sets up devices all the time, because it's so quick and I would say effortless, because they take the guesswork out of entering your password. And again, maybe not guesswork, I'd say some people don't know their password, but they take the Touch ID feels the same exact speed as it is on my iPad mini or on my wife's iPad Air 4. I'm kind of surprised that they still went with Touch ID this late in the game. I guess they really feel that Face ID is a differentiator for the added premium. Let me know what you think about Touch ID versus Face ID down in the comments below. I think I am all in on Face ID. There is these times where I'm using my iPad mini and I forget that it has Touch ID, and then I go to use my phone and then I start putting my finger on the sleep wake button. It never works that way, but I'm like, oh, old habits die hard. Customize settings, and I do not want to transfer apps or data. I like setting my device up as fresh each time, which is a pain in the butt, but it really kind of forces you to eliminate the apps that you don't want to carry forward that have zero value. Now let's talk about the specific features for the iPad Air 5. Now it's going to be available in 5 colors. We have space gray, starlight purple, and then the blue color in addition to pink. There is the same 10.9-inch liquid retina display on these devices as last year. They both support the Apple Pencil 2, and it's a simple charging and pairing where all you gotta do is connect it to the side and it will go ahead and first pair your Apple Pencil to the device and then charge it as well. Now, one of the very first things I do after setting up my iPad is I apply my Paperlike screen protector, and that is today's video sponsor. So Paperlike is a way of enhancing the precision and control that you have while using your Apple Pencil 2, or Apple Pencil 1, actually, it doesn't necessarily matter, but gives you enhanced precision and control if you are writing, if you are drawing, taking notes, really any number of things that you would use the Apple Pencil for. It makes it more paper-like, thus the name. When you get it, it is very easy to apply onto the screen. I actually have a video where I did that on my iPad mini, I think it was. I'll leave that in the cards above if you want to check that out. I really enjoy using Paperlike. It cuts down on glare, it cuts down on fingerprints, and in my experience, it really does make the experience that much better. I'll leave a link down in the description below in case you want to pick that up, but thanks very much Paperlike for sponsoring today's video. Now back to the features. We talked about how the iPad has the same 10.9-inch liquid retina display. It has a 2360 by 1640 pixel resolution at 264 pixels per inch, which is, I think it's a good number of pixels. It also supports wide color gamut P3 True Tone display, and it is fully laminated, meaning that when you are interacting with the display, it really feels like your fingers or your Apple Pencil is really interacting with the content. It's not like the lower cost iPad where it has a separation or an air gap between the glass and the display itself. Now this year, this is coming with the M1 processor, and it has 8 gigs of RAM. So Apple's now calling out specifically how much RAM you have in this device. Now, if you're interested in some type of, I would say, in-depth performance test between the iPad Air 5, maybe the iPad Air 4, iPad Pro 11-inch, iPad Pro 12.9-inch, let me know down in the comments below what device you'd like me to see me test, and I'll see if I can arrange that for you. Now, let's just get a quick Geekbench score. Now, these are synthetic, meaning that they're not necessarily a reflection of real life, so you need to conduct some type of like usability testing, which I do plan on doing in my full review of the iPad. So again, if you are interested in that, make sure you are subscribed. So Geekbench just finished up, and we have a single core score of 1,718 and a multi-core score of 6,956. So very much respectable for this device. Now we see here 3.2 gigahertz processor, and it has just 7.5 gigs of RAM, which is essentially 8 at this point for Apple to call it that way. Now the compute benchmark just finished up, and that has a metal score of 21,209. Now this is the same processor that you have in the iPad Air 5 as in the Mac Mini 2020, the MacBook Air 2020, and the 13-inch MacBook Pro, in addition to the 11-inch and the 12.9-inch M1 iPad Pros. But the only difference is there, you can configure it with either 8 or 16 gigs of RAM. So if you think you are RAM constrained, which if you are, I'd love to know what you're doing, you would want to go up to that other device. But all in all, let's take a look here at the camera. Let's see how this thing works out. So we are outside right now. It's very, very warm here today in South Florida. But this is the iPad Air 5 in direct sunlight. Let's see how it handles that. Yeah, it's pretty bright. Let's turn around this way. I'm totally closing my eyes now because I can't see. But I think it looks pretty good. You tell me what you think. Now that we finished up with the camera test, one of the other new features in the iPad Air 5 is going to be the support for Centerstage. If you are unfamiliar with what Centerstage is, this is a auto framing technology using the 12 megapixel wide camera in the front of the device. And it tracks you. It's actually kind of it's a nice gimmick. Now, unfortunately, Apple still has the FaceTime camera in the very top of the device when you are in portrait mode. I hope they change that, actually in landscape mode. I hope they change that to portrait mode because it doesn't really make sense. I would say majority of people are using their iPad, at least in my experience, in this landscape orientation like you see here. People would say very rarely do this way, and it feels more natural to take a FaceTime call this way, especially if you're using like a Magic Keyboard or an iPad stand. But I think this is a good upgrade if you are someone who's been waiting for the ability to take better video calls on your iPad. Now, other than that, the only other new feature that they have on this device is the upgraded USB-C port, which is on here. Now, the USB-C port, which is here on the bottom, has been upgraded to USB-C 2 Gen 2.2. It's a goofy naming convention, but essentially it supports 10 gigabit data transfers opposed to 5 gigabit, and it will work with the new Studio Display, which that's what I was getting at the Apple Store. So if you want to see the combination of this with the Studio Display and a few other things I have planned, make sure you're subscribed again. The iPad Air 5 is essentially, it's a very incremental update over the previous generation iPad Air 4. Even though it has a new processor, even though it has an upgraded 12 megapixel camera in the front with Centerstage, it has the M1. Now I'll be doing some comparisons with the iPad Air 4 to figure out really whether or not it is worth upgrading from that device, maybe even from the iPad Air 3, and also from the older iPad 7th and 8th generation to this device. Let me know any questions that you have down in the comments below. My name is Mike. This is Tech 24/7 TV, Team Purple. I'll talk to you in the next one.